Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The School Discipline Fix, Changing Behavior Using the Collaborative Problem-Solving Approach, by J. Stewart Ablon and Alisha R. Pollastri. Narrated by Kitty Hendrix. Publisher's Note: in this audio edition, you will hear references to boxes present in the print and ebook formats of the book. Introduction. We stand together at one end of the school cafeteria, looking out at the teachers, counselors, and administrators sitting in the chairs that in a few days will be full of this year's students. We have done many trainings like this before. The image is a familiar one. Some participants look back at us, eyes bright, ready to hear about our fix for school discipline and consider applying it with the incoming class. Others look more cautious, likely wondering whether this training will result in nothing more than another binder gathering dust on the shelves in the back of the classroom. A few sit in the back, looking skeptical that we will say something they don't already know. We look at each other, smile, and get ready to begin. It is never easy helping schools attempt to transform their disciplinary practices, but we're confident that with training, coaching, leadership, and perseverance, this school, like others before, will be well on its way to a more compassionate, equitable, and effective approach that will help challenging students build the skills they need to succeed. Over the last several decades, we have helped countless children and adolescents who exhibit challenging behavior using the collaborative problem-solving (CPS) approach. This evidence-based approach was originated by Dr. Ross Greene in his book, The Explosive Child, written for parents of children with social, emotional, and behavioral challenges. CPS was initially developed for parents who wanted to reduce conflict at home because their children were displaying challenging behavior. In an early clinical trial conducted at our institution, Massachusetts General Hospital, with families who came into outpatient clinics, CPS proved to be very effective for this purpose. However, often our clinicians were hearing that some of the most challenging behaviors were occurring in school. How could we help a child struggling at school from our offices? We began working in schools by providing consultation to teachers and administrators to help them better understand the children we saw in our offices and to figure out more effective ways of meeting the students' needs. In doing so, we recognized the incredible opportunity that school affords. We realized that students with challenging behavior were spending hours a day with caring, empathetic, trained professionals, and CPS could be delivered at a much more consistent dose when educators were using the approach directly with these students, rather than waiting for their weekly hour in our offices. Fortunately, the same approach that worked well with parents and caregivers also provided a blueprint for educators to understand and help students with similar challenges. Around that same time, some pioneering leaders were beginning to test CPS in their therapeutic systems and organizations, and the data from those early attempts at systemic implementation were promising as well. Since then, CPS has been implemented around the world in hundreds of therapeutic settings with remarkable results that have shifted the entire culture and approach to addressing challenging behavior in many of these programs. Entire organizations, communities, states, and provinces have embraced the approach. More recently, like therapeutic systems, entire schools have been implementing CPS to transform school discipline and affect behavior change in challenging students, and have seen great success. In the past decade, we have taught CPS in schools of all shapes and sizes, from district schools in New York City and the largest charter school network in the United States, to smaller charter networks in cities like Memphis, Tennessee, and special education and therapeutic schools all over North America. All told, we train more than 12,000 educators a year in CPS. The evidence has confirmed that CPS can be used to transform traditional school discipline to a much more differentiated, compassionate, and effective approach for some of our most challenging students. The approach has helped achieve significant reductions in challenging behaviors, as well as in the punitive responses like office referrals, detentions, and suspensions, that do nothing to help and may actually harm students. The secondary benefits have included reduction in teacher stress and improved problem-solving skills in students. The educators with whom we have been fortunate to work have long urged us to develop some sort of curriculum, a guide to help them apply the approach and share it with others in their building. They reminded us that they are experts at implementing curricula in individualized ways with their students, and assured that with a guide like this, they would be able to spread the message of CPS wider and faster. It is our hope that the 3 parts of this book together provide just such a practical resource. Part 1 begins with an examination of why traditional school discipline fails the students to whom it's most applied. We explain why the conventional understanding of challenging behavior is inaccurate and leads to ineffective solutions. We then use the research in the neurosciences to help explain what is actually getting in the way for students in a language we can all understand. We use this research to help educators rethink challenging behavior as a deficit of skill, not will. Finally, we introduce our assessment tools and teach educators how to use them in a step-by-step manner to make challenging behavior predictable and identify the specific skills deficits that cause challenging behaviors. In Part 2, we lay out the specific steps for engaging students in collaborative problem-solving to effectively reduce challenging behavior while building their skills and a helping relationship with them. We begin by providing a simple framework for developing a behavior intervention plan that is consistent with our skill, not will philosophy. We then teach the steps of problem-solving with students and demonstrate how to build skills through that process. The rest of this section focuses on how to troubleshoot that problem-solving process as well as how to apply it in group settings. Part 3 is for those of you who are looking to accomplish more widespread change in your school or system. Whether you are a school leader yourself or hope to engage school leaders in the mission of fixing school discipline, we begin by describing what it takes to implement CPS in an entire school, or even an entire district, by sharing our experience implementing CPS, as well as what the field of implementation science has shown needs to be considered to effectively implement any new approach. We review the common challenges and obstacles and provide practical solutions to them. We also describe how the approach can be used among adults, with our colleagues, with parents, and even with ourselves. Finally, we conclude with the latest research on the effectiveness of the approach. Whether you are a teacher, counselor, coach, or administrator, listening to Parts 1 and 2 will provide you with a new mindset, a simple assessment process, and an effective intervention plan for each of your challenging students. You will walk away with strategies that are immediately actionable with the students in your life. Then, if you agree that your school-wide approach to discipline is broken, consider gathering together to listen to this book in teacher teams or as a school, with Part 3 serving as your guide to whole school implementation. It is only together that we can enact system-wide change that brings the latest research into action to help challenging students succeed. It is only together that we can fix school discipline. Part 1. Rethinking Challenging Behaviors. Chapter 1. Why Traditional School Discipline is Broken. Miss Robbins had been looking forward to her first teaching job since she entered an education program in college. She was excited to put everything she learned in her courses into practice: instructional design, assessment, collaborating with families, ethical issues in the classroom. Unfortunately, these first few weeks hadn't gone as well as she had hoped. Although she had discussed her classroom expectations with all the students on the first day, and most of the students were doing okay, there were a few students who were ruining the learning environment for everyone. They didn't seem to care about meeting her expectations. In fact, one in particular.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?